of options there available for students. And then we've also got, in partnership with Navitas, our Sydney.
The campuses and the university as a whole. So let's just address that. What are the campuses that you have?
Who's saying, when are you graduating? When can you go from working part-time to looking at full-time opportunities? Criminal justice, to physiotherapy, to dental science, to veterinary science. But in terms of those courses where we see high demand from international students,
Hello and welcome back to the IUS YouTube channel. Today we have a special guest with us who spent over 15 years in the international higher education, working across the US, Australia, and the Pacific region. She's been at the forefront of helping international students succeed and currently leads the global engagement at Charles Sturt University. Joining us today is Eleanor Mitchell, Director of Global Engagement at Charles Sturt University. We'll be discussing everything from studying at Charles Sturt, admissions, scholarships, student life, career opportunities, and how the university supports the international students. Eleanor, welcome to the show.
thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here and really looking forward to speaking with you and all of your students.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing. So let's start with, for the students looking at Australian universities, Charles Sturt may not be the first name that pops up into their mind, but it's one of Australia's most respected regional universities. What makes Charles Sturt stand out?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for that question. I think the really exciting thing is Australia has an immense number of high quality institutions. So you're right that it's not a straightforward decision for students. At Charles Sturt University, though, we pride ourselves on being Australia's best value university. So for students who are really wanting to say, what is that return on investment? What am I going to be spending? What are my parents going to be spending on my tuition fees? What do I receive in scholarships? And what are my employability opportunities at the end of it? Statistically speaking, we provide that best value for them and their return on investment. So I think that's a really key factor for students looking at coming to Charles Sturt University.
Got it. That is the biggest factor that students consider here in the Southern Eastern Asian regions. The ROI, the return on investment, should be good. So yeah, that's amazing to hear about. So your university has a strong reputation in fields like agriculture, healthcare, business, and IT. What are some of the most demanded courses for the international students?
Look, you're right. We've got a wide range of courses at the university, everything from the likes of criminal justice to physiotherapy to dental science to veterinary science. But in terms of those courses where we see high demand from international students, our Bachelor of Nursing is in huge demand and it's offered across all of our campuses, aside from our Orange campus, but really accessible to students. The other one is IT. So we have IT both at the undergraduate level, Bachelors of Information Technology, as well as our postgraduate Masters of Professional Information Technology. And we have specializations in there, things like cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, which are really at the forefront of what IT companies are seeking from their future employees. The other one you cited is agriculture. So we're one of Australia's leading universities for agriculture. We have it also available at undergraduate and postgraduate levels, and those are available on our Wagga Wagga campus.
Got it. So let's just use this space also to talk about the campuses and the university as a whole. So let's just address that. What are the campuses that you have? Let's just talk about that as well.
Yeah, so look, we've got 6 campuses across regional New South Wales, so lots of choice for students. Coming from the west of the state of New South Wales, you start off with our Albury-Wodonga campus, coming across next to our Wagga Wagga campus. Then you have our Bathurst campus, which is about 3 hours west of Sydney. Then going inland from there, you have our Orange campus, and then our Dubbo campus. And then on the east coast of New South Wales and the east coast of Australia is our Port Macquarie campus. So quite a range of options there available for students. And then we've also got, in partnership with Navitas, our Sydney and Melbourne campuses.
Got it. So let's talk about also the benefits that studying at the regional university brings, right? That it has all sorts of unique benefits like longer post-study work visas, smaller class sizes, and close-knit student community. Can you talk about how these aspects benefit the international students particularly?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we are really excited about is the fantastic international student experience holistically that students
Mm.
have at Charles Sturt. So it's, yes, absolutely a high quality education that they're receiving, great, graduate opportunities for them, but it's that holistic experience. So first of all, is it's a very bespoke and customized international student support. When students walk in, they'll greet you by name and,
Oh,
see what you need help with. It's not a matter of scanning your student ID to
yeah,
figure out who
yeah.
you are. The other factor is a really good cost of living
Mm.
in all of our locations. So across all of our main campuses, we have on-campus accommodation available for our students. The starting price point is only 180 Australian dollars
Okay.
per week. If you compare that to the likes of Sydney and Melbourne, student accommodation in many purpose-built student accommodation starts at around $800 a week.
Mm.
So huge cost savings there for students. But it's also just the lifestyle. It's the fact that in Port Macquarie, a student can finish class and be on a beach in 10 minutes.
Yep, yep.
It's a pretty fantastic overall quality of life. And the part-time job opportunities are immense. So we have part-time job opportunities for students, be that in their field of study. So some of our nursing students, for example, work part-time in aged care facilities or in hospitals, or students might like to work in hospitality or
Mhm.
tourism sectors part-time.
Got it, got it. So coming back to the campuses part, since Charles Sturt has campuses across the regional New South Wales, right? How does the student experience differ from studying in a major city like Sydney or Melbourne?
So again, I think one of those factors is that quality of life and cost of living factor.
Yeah.
You're not going to be in a city of 5 million people.
Mm.
Therefore, to get to class, if you live on campus, it's a lovely, comfortable 5 minutes stroll across the quad to get to your first campus. You can roll out of bed and be in class 5 minutes later. Or if you live on campus, you're probably still only looking at a 10 to 15-minute
Mm.
commute from your house or your apartment. That's very different to someone who lives in Sydney and might be commuting over an hour just to get to campus.
Got it.
The other thing is the natural beauty that we have. We are surrounded on our main campuses by absolutely stunning natural scenery. One of my favorite things to do on our Port Macquarie campus is to wake up in the mornings and go for a gorgeous coastal run. I'm literally passing 5 to 7 beaches on my run, maybe seeing another 20 people, and basically having these pristine beaches all to
Mm.
myself. And then when you get to campus, there's a few koalas in the eucalyptus trees to greet you to start your day.
That just painted a such serene and beautiful image in my mind while you were describing it. And that brings me to my next question that many students worry about finding a community and social life when moving abroad, right? So what's campus life like for the international students?
Well, great one is we've just had awesome and really exciting holy festivals across our
Ah,
campuses. So the campuses were full of color, lots of paint and powder going around, but we've got a really active student body
mhm.
population on our campuses. But the other aspect is that we have really multicultural communities. So we work really closely with a number of our multicultural community associations. For example, we have them come on to campus to engage with our students, but also to invite them into community events that are happening. So be that big Diwali festivals,
Mm.
or be that cricket teams that exist, and allowing students to participate, well, first of all, to be aware that the teams exist, and then to join the teams and participate. And that's a great part of about being in smaller communities compared to big cities, is that we as a university work really closely with all of our community partners, and particularly the multicultural associations, to make sure our international students know about those opportunities and we get them involved.
Got it. So what's the admission process like for the international students?
Look, first thing is obviously working with one of our great education agent partners like yourselves, but we make sure that it's as streamlined as possible for our international students. So as long as they have their baseline academics, so their previous results, be that from high school or
Mhm.
from their university degree, as well as their English language proficiency, so that's IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, whatever their preference is. That's the baseline that they need to get an application started.
Okay.
If they do have any additional documentation that we require from them, that will be on what we call a conditional or provisional offer. And it spells out those additional bits of information that we might need. As long as they meet all of our entry requirements to the university, then they receive a full offer, which allows them to accept. We do encourage students to apply as early as possible, even if they're still having to submit some additional documents. We work with them closely with our education agent partners to support them, and are really recommending that students are applying for their visas to come to Australia, ideally at latest 6 to 8 weeks, prior to their course start date, to make sure they arrive on time.
Yeah, correct. And it also takes some time to settle into the new environment, right? So that's perfectly fine. And that brings me to another question, like, what does the Charles Sturt University looks for in an ideal applicant? Is it purely academic scores or extracurriculars or even the personal statements? How much do these matter?
Look, all of those factors come into play. So obviously students have to meet our baseline academic entry requirements and English language proficiency requirements. But we do have very strong, genuine student screening processes in place. And I think the message for students is if they are able to meet our genuine student requirements in terms of their financials, in terms of their profile, they have a very high chance of getting a visa from the Australian Government Department of Home Affairs. So we have an extremely high success rate for students who receive a confirmation enrollment for the university. So I think that's the great message is if you get a confirmation of enrollment, you've got a very good chance of getting that visa grant, which obviously is what they are seeking to be able to come study with us.
Yes, right. So financial constraints can hold many students back, particularly in the Southeast Asian regions. What scholarships or the financial aids option are available at the Charles Sturt University for the international students?
Look, I think that's one that's not just Asian students. The reality is to study abroad is very expensive. And so it's a factor that we're acutely aware of for our international students, and we always want to make sure we have supports available there for them. Right now at Charles Sturt University, we have scholarships up to 50% of their tuition fees available, and that's for the duration of their studies. That 50% scholarship is our highly prestigious Vice Chancellor's International Excellence Scholarship, which we currently have open for students who are looking at applying for study with us in July of this year, 2025. But we also have a number of other scholarships. Our Merit Scholarship, which is a 25% scholarship for merit students. And we also have an accommodation scholarship. So it's not just about tuition fees. We've got an accommodation bursary scholarship, which is over $3,000 towards their living expenses if they choose to live on campus.
Okay, for the on-campus. Got it. So one of the biggest concerns for the international students when they are going to study abroad is about the transition into the job market, whether they would get any support from the university while they are trying to transition into a job role full-time there. So what happens after graduation? How does the Charles Sturt University help students transition into the job market?
I think the important thing is that we're not thinking about it as they're nearing graduation. We do it from the very first day they're enrolled in their course. So all of our courses at Charles Sturt University have work integrated learning or placements as a part of the degree. This means that students are really receiving all of that training for a future career, for a future job within their course. So we work closely with industry and our local partners to inform our curriculum and inform our course content, and also to ensure that students have those placements and that work integrated learning throughout their degree of study. What this means is that by the time they're ready to graduate, they're so ready for employment. Yes, obviously I'll speak to some of the supports we have, but they already have been interning or doing a placement in the local hospital or the local dental clinic. So they've already got those linkages, and quite often it's who they've been doing their placement with who's saying, when are you graduating? When can you go from working part-time to looking at full-time opportunities? I think the fact though is that Charles Sturt University this year, for the 8th year in a row, is Australia's #1 university for undergraduate employment outcomes.
That's amazing.
That means our grads are getting jobs faster than any other Australian public university. So statistically speaking, we know what we're doing is working because our students are graduating and they're getting that job faster than a graduate in another university. And we do also have a full careers team, which supports students with things like their CVs and writing job applications. And they can access that both as a student, but also as an alumnus. So they have that ability to tap into that. So if they need that support after they graduate as well.
Got it. Got it. So you mentioned about the industry connections. I'm intrigued about what are the industries that are currently hiring from the Charles Sturt University, and how well does the university prepare the students for those careers? Like you mentioned about the career support, and the guidance that happens on campus.
Absolutely. I'll give you a couple of examples in degrees like nursing and IT, as those are some areas that we have a lot of international students. So again, we work closely with a lot of our local partners, and they're actually coming on campus and informing students about the opportunity. So great example is in Port Macquarie. We work really closely with the Mid-North Coast Local Health District. And that's not just for nursing, but also for things like OT and physiotherapy. And they work with our students before they're even looking at jobs to talk about what career prospects look like in the local health district, be that in the base hospital or others in the broader network. What are opportunities, and what are they actually seeking for their future employees and their workforce? Similarly, we have a number of industry partners within IT. We work closely with the likes of IBM, obviously a international IT giant. We have a strategic partnership with them at Charles Sturt University. So we have internships that are available to our undergraduate students, but also, again, we work with them for things like master classes and intensives, so that students get a bit of a showcase.
Got it. Got it. So let's talk about the regional advantages that the university offers and the post-study work opportunities. A major draw for the regional universities in Australia is the extended post-study work visa, right? How does studying in a regional location help the international students with career opportunities in Australia?
So you're right. That's, I think, a great benefit for students to be aware of is that by studying in a regional university, they do get that additional post-study work benefit. And that's certainly something that our students tap into. I think the other one is that we really are working closely with local businesses and organizations so that hopefully, and if the students so choose, when they look at any sort of post-study work, it's actually in their discipline. So if they're graduating, again, in IT, they're actually going into post-study work within an IT company or working in a business as a cybersecurity specialist versus going off and just getting a general job. Not that there's anything wrong with being an Uber driver working in the local cafe, but obviously it's fantastic if they can put those skills that they've learned in their degree into their career straight away.
Got it. So I have another side question to this. Do students have the opportunities for the exchange programs or studying abroad through the university?
Absolutely. So as part of my responsibilities at the university's Director of Global Engagement, yes, we engage a lot with international students who are coming to Australia to study their full degree, but another part of the team works on what we call our Charles Sturt Global Opportunities. And it's exactly this. So as part of our degrees at the university, students have the opportunity to go overseas, be that on a full semester of exchange, or what we have a lot of students partake in is what we call a short-term program. These are typically 2 to 3 weeks in length, occurring over semester breaks, so either in our June-July break or over our summer break, which is in end of November, December, and January, and it's specialists within their field. So we have students with the likes of physiotherapy and OT go to places in the Indo-Pacific region and run clinics. We also have students in the likes of Bachelor Paramedicine who go on paramedicine intensive programs over to the United Kingdom and the United States. They're working with the likes of St. John on ambulances doing paramedic training placement. So it's definitely one that we have a range of opportunities across the globe and a variety of destinations and also for different types of programs as well. And it's one where we have a lot of our domestic students participate in as well. And that's a great way for our Australian students to get a taste of other places. And they often come back and then are speaking to their fellow students saying, I just went to your country and I loved it.
I'm sure that would be an amazing conversation amongst the students. So imagine you have 30 seconds to convince a student why they should choose Charles Sturt University over the other universities. So let's go.
Where's my timer?
That'll be added to the video.
All right, ready, set, go.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Mitchell. I'm the Director of Global Engagement at Charles Sturt University. I'm really excited that you're considering Charles Sturt University as an option for studying higher education in Australia. Why Charles Sturt University, you might ask? Guess what? We're Australia's best value university. What does that mean? That means that you are going to get the best return on investment for your tuition fees paid, the scholarship that you'll be eligible for, and our graduate employability outcomes and our median graduate starting salaries. All of those factors together statistically show you that we're Australia's best value university, getting you that best return on investment and setting you up for the career in your chosen field. The other aspect is we're extremely proud that this year, 2025, for the 8th year in a row, we are Australia's best public university for graduate employability. This means that our graduates get jobs faster than students at other universities. The other factor to highlight is that we have a range of campuses across regional New South Wales, 6 campuses to choose from, and a range of courses that are highly suited to areas like agriculture, IT, nursing, pharmacy, OT, physiotherapy. All of these courses also are eligible for our very prestigious and very generous scholarships, which go up to 50% of tuition fees. So really excited for any students looking at Charles Sturt University as an option, and we hope that you'll check out more of our opportunities and availabilities further.
Guys, those of you who are watching, this was already recorded in one shot. This was not pre-recorded, and that was the amazing monologue that I've ever heard after Kartik Aaryan in the Bollywood movie. So this has been an amazing conversation with you, Eleanor. Thank you for sharing all the valuable information. And for the students who are watching, if you're considering studying in Australia, Charles Sturt University offers strong academics and the best ROI that Eleanor mentioned. The quickest way to a career, as Eleanor mentioned in her monologue, great student support, and exciting career opportunities. Check out their programs, explore the scholarships, and take that first leap. Drop your questions in the comments below and we'll get them answered. Thank you for watching this video.
Thanks so much. Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That was amazing.